Hey, what's up? It's Empathy Truman, aka Josh Hines. I just want to make a follow up video from my last one where I titled, I'm going to jail for posting this video. I just got out of jail, 2 months in Billerica, but not for that video. I'm facing another felony for uploading that video. I had a warrant for my arrest because of a music video for a song that I made called Trainwreck. And in that song, I made a joke, like venting that, instead of going to jail for uploading a music video, maybe I'll just off myself, I heard the door to my apartment being unlocked, so somebody had a key, and in walked 3 Framingham police officers. And they're like, "What are you, making rap videos?" I'm like, "What?" And they said, "Well, you have a warrant for your arrest, for this music video you uploaded." And I'm like, "Can you really just enter my apartment without a warrant and arrest me over a music video?" And they said, "Well, we can when you threaten to harm yourself." I shouldn't have to explain this to anybody, but songs, music, art, the artist who makes them, it doesn't have to be fact. It doesn't have to be about their life. It could be about somebody else. It could just be bullshit that comes to mind when they're spitting to a beat, And if you don't understand that, you really don't deserve to listen to music ever again. You should just move to North Korea and give up your right to free speech and expression. Because if you don't like my music, don't listen to it. If you don't like violence in movies, don't watch them. It's that simple. But don't violate other people's rights to watch what they want to watch and listen to what they want to listen to, and don't censor the artist who makes it. Because that's censorship and that's tyranny. And the only people that bring censorship and tyranny to a society are dictators and liars and Nazis. And that's a fact. And I'll tell you this: anytime there's a group of people that want to censor somebody and silence somebody, and to the point of extreme levels that I have been dealing with, you should probably listen to what that person has to say. Because they obviously have something important to say that other people don't want you to hear, When I got booked into the Framingham Police Department, the sergeant says, "You have good flows. I've seen a number of your videos. Who are your influences?" And I'm just like, "What? I mean, thank you, but what?" So this is what I don't understand. Are the police just stalking me, my YouTube channel? In order to charge me with a crime for it? And the answer has got to be yes, because the last music video I uploaded, I got charged with a crime because I used a picture I liked from my past. I liked the background and all that stuff. And I blocked out the other person who's in it. So you can't even see who that person is. I got charged with a crime for that. And, I had a warrant for my arrest the following day, So it's like, all I'm doing is uploading videos to my own channel. I'm not sending them to anyone. I'm not tagging anyone. I'm not saying anybody by name. I'm certainly not threatening anyone. Even in the videos where I detail all the tragedies that I've had to deal with in my life, all the injustice, the theft, the dishonesty, the backstabbing, the unfairness of not seeing my own kids for almost 2 years now. All I do is tell the truth. And I back it up with evidence of that. And I'm going to jail for it. It's nuts. So when I was in Billerica, I had to sleep next to a guy from Charlestown who's notorious for taping 4 razor blades to his fingers like Freddy Krueger and slashing up another inmate. The guy needed 126 stitches. The guy he slashed up was a child rapist, so whatever. Try sleeping at night next to a guy like that, and he's a little unpredictable. And then try sleeping at night and you got everybody else staying up all night, getting high on K2, and will elbow me because I snore. I'm interrupting them, partying all night. It's just incredible. I mean, you get 1 hour of outside time, and the food sucks. You eat dinner at 4:30, and when you're in there undeserved, it makes it 100 times harder. People are like, "What are you in for?" I was like, "YouTube." I'm like, "Bullshit. What are you, a cop? What are you really in for?" I'm like, "I'm a YouTube music video." And people get angry. They're like, "What?" And rightfully so, because nobody should be in jail for music or music videos. You know, and it's just amazing because some of the people in the courts grew up in the 60s and they're sending people to jail for a music video. What happened to you, man? Come on. It's just bizarre, you know? It's like I've had everything taken from me. Everything. Unfairly, you know? And I begged the courts. I'm like, look, music is like it's everything. It's all I got. You know, I live in this apartment building. Nobody even speaks English. I got cockroaches. Like, I have to keep everything. I've never even been able to fully unpack because of the cockroaches. And I'm stuck because I can't even have the credit right now. I don't have a job because the media portrayed me negatively and wrongfully. So I've applied to 1 million jobs. Always goes nowhere. You know, so all I have is music, right? And I told the court that. I'm like, it's very therapeutic for me, you know. It's like, but they took that away anyway. It's like they take away my right to vent, my right to express myself, you know. And I don't understand it. So when I got out, the court ordered me not to use the internet whatsoever, which didn't sound right to me. So a quick DuckDuckGo search, not Google, revealed that the Supreme Court ruled that it's unjust and unlawful to order anybody not to use the internet in today's world. So even these sicko pedophiles who get caught doing what they're doing online were allowed to use the internet, and I wasn't for a music video. Make it make sense, please. You know. So I couldn't apply to jobs and stuff. So I brought this up to my lawyer, and he says, "All right, we'll talk about it in court." He brought it up in court, and the judge says, "Oh, I didn't order that, did I?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's right here on the court order." Okay, well, we'll lift the no internet thing, but you're still not allowed to post on social media. It's like, we want you to pay taxes and get a job and support the system that doesn't support you. The police won't help you. They won't, you know, I can't even tell you how many times I've reported theft, grand theft, and unlawfully keeping me from my kids, and, you know, the system will strip you of your Second Amendment rights, your First Amendment rights. I have no parental rights for some reason. They're like non-existent. So we want you to support the system that doesn't support you. But we're also going to take away any social life, and I'm not allowed to have any social media. You know, it's just incredible. It's pretty evil, you know, to take a guy that's lost everything and then continue to just take things from him, you know. And some people will have the argument, you know, well, the court ordered you not to post on social media, and that's why you went to jail, because you did it anyway. This is true. But sometimes you got to stand up for what you believe in and for what's right. And it's not right what they're doing to me, you know. What kind of message is that to my kids if I don't stand up for what I believe in, you know? So they put a GPS monitor bracelet on me again when I got out, and I just can't even begin to tell you how unhealthy that is. I've been in the courtroom when other people are trying to get a protective order on somebody, and I've looked up what the requirements are in order to grant somebody a protective order, and it's incredible. So a judge who's not involved in a conspiracy against me will ask a series of required questions, such as, do you have call records to the police? Do you have police incident reports? Do you have text messages and emails with threats? Do you have witness testimony detailing events of abuse? It's very detailed. You know, do you have hospital records? It's very, thorough, as it should be. You know, I know none of those things exist because they don't. I've never abused anyone in my life. And the most frustrating thing is that the person that has this protective order on me knows where my morals lie on that, you know. I've only been in like a handful of fights my whole life, and they're all for fair reasons, self-defense or fair reason. But the last one that I was in was 2001. in front of the Jukebox nightclub, which is, I think, like the Roxy now or something. But the person that has this order on me will remember this, that I saw a grown man punch a girl in the face as hard as he could. So I stepped in. I took care of it. And because if you're a grown man, you don't hit girls, ever. You know, I had a girlfriend in college who would drink too much and pick fights with me and punch me in the face, you know. I would just take it. I didn't even like push her away. That's where I stand on that issue, you know. You don't ever hit girls. So it's very hurtful to even have one of these on me. And these protective orders should not be used in order to violate a person's rights or to get custody. And if you don't see that or understand that, and if you can't see when this is happening, you're a big part of the problem. And you don't deserve to be in the judicial system, period. You know, because fathers' rights are important. Human rights are important. You know, life is pretty worthless without human rights. And I feel pretty worthless right now, you know. This GPS monitor bracelet, I mean, I could understand this if I ever violated this protective order, if I ever trespassed at this person's house or went to their job or, you know, emailed them, called them, texted them. Never have. Nothing. So it's really unfair. And, you know, it's unnecessary. And I think they know that. But the most frustrating thing is that they even told me this. Somebody in probation, I won't say who, but they even told me, they said, well, we know you're not going to do anything, but if you did, it's basically to cover the judge's ass, just in case. And the ironic thing is that, excuse me, in the probation office, they have all these posters up about, you know, suicide prevention and mental health awareness. It's like, what a bunch of bullshit, you know? If you guys really cared, you would consider the mental toll it puts on a person to have to wear this thing. You know, I have 2 kids. I love kids. I talk to them in the supermarket. I wave to them, and they want to ask me questions about my motorcycle. I'll let them honk the horn and stuff. And when parents see that on your ankle, they pull their kids in closer. And I can't even tell you how deep that cuts me every time, you know, to be thought of somebody that you're not, to have somebody be afraid of you. You know, good luck trying to make a friend while you're wearing this. I have no friends. I'm not even allowed to have online friends. Good luck dating wearing this, you know. That's not going to happen. I can't even go swimming in the summertime, you know. So it's just, I wish they would stop and consider everyone before they put these things on, you know. And the only people this thing does attract are other dirtbags in my apartment complex, because there's a lot of them. I live in a shithole, you know. And they're like, yo, when did you get out? I did 8 months in Shirley Max. Let me know if you need any Fetty. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you know. I walk the property like every day, do like 4 laps. I pick up at least 2 syringes every day, you know. It's just, so all I got is music, but I'm not even allowed to do that, you know. I can't even talk to people online, you know. I got Massachusetts is a right to work state, so they want me to get a job, which I've been trying to get a job, but you know, it's just weird that they don't consider music a job either. You know, I've invested thousands of dollars working with producers, getting music licenses, working with distribution companies, marketing materials, stuff like that for a new album, and it's all on hold. All the money I've invested is in limbo, because if I post anything, I go to jail. Make it make sense. I get messages on Twitter from VP of Rolling Stone, I think it was. I got messages from The Source magazine asking if I was signed yet, and 2 record labels in California asking me if I was signed yet. I can't even respond to messages. I can't even pursue a career that interests me. You know, everything that I worked for, all the clients I built as a tech recruiter, and I was good at what I did. I worked my ass off. All those, recommendations and all my, skill sets that were thrown out the window with this media story, and that sucks. That's why I think there's a big conspiracy or police retaliation, because the first time I was charged with violating a protective order was, and the police referenced my song Graveside Seats. They thought it was a threat to this person with a protective order. And that song is about a friend of mine that in my college days who shot himself in the head with a .357 Magnum. I have to live with seeing that for the rest of my life, and nobody should have to see that. It's not a sight you want to see. I also had a friend, Marlene Blue, who was murdered in Worcester. One of my best friends in high school, Tom Meehan, died suspiciously on his boat in Fairhaven. There's a number of things I could have songs about. It doesn't mean that they're threats to anyone, So when the police charged me with a crime for writing that song and disgracing my friend's death, I got pissed off, And they had ignored my in-person complaints about grand theft and keeping my kids from me unlawfully, and nobody helped me, nobody cared. So in a response, I went on their social media, and like the first video I found on their lieutenant's social media channel was her talking about how to properly road rage when you're from Boston, and talking about dope smacking people, and talking about violence openly. And I support her right to do that. I do. I wasn't offended. I was just trying to make a point that it's very ironic to me that I'm being charged with a crime about a song about a friend who killed himself, and here's the same cop who's charging me talking about violence on her social media. And the same police department, and this has nothing to do with any of the officers in the department now, but their former chief was arrested for trying to meet a 12-year-old boy for sex. He didn't do 1 day in jail. And here I am doing 2 months in jail over a music video where I don't threaten anybody. It's just incredible. I don't understand it. I hope somebody sees this and looks into it, because there's definitely something going on. Why else would I go to jail for 30 days over a classic he said, she said case, and the person that made a complaint against me was openly vocal about disarming me before it happened. And they didn't like the fact that I owned an assault rifle. I followed the law for 22 years, federally. I passed FBI background checks, took training classes, had a gun safe, paid my licensing fees every 7 years, and it was all taken from me, and they just took all my property. They stole from me, like $2,400 worth of firearms, legally owned firearms, were taken from me. Without even being interviewed by the police, without any evidence being presented. The judge didn't even call this person to testify in court. There's nothing. They just sent me right to jail for 30 days. So you tell me there's no conspiracy going on when that case gets dismissed, and a protective order which was granted over that incident is upheld, and that person wasn't even there that night. I don't get it. And then when I tried to appeal the protective order so that I could talk to my own kids and get my property back, my license back, my Second Amendment right back. Because if I recall, does the Second Amendment say the right to bear arms unless a person gets a protective order against you from an incident that doesn't involve them? I don't remember that part to the Second Amendment being in there. I mean, it's the loopholes, man. I'm telling you. Your rights are an illusion. If they want to violate your rights, they'll find a way. And the court system, they're all in bed together. When you hire a lawyer, it's not like in the movies where the lawyer goes to bat for you and fights the system. That's all bullshit. They talk to the other attorney behind your back. They make backroom deals. They talk to the judges the whole time. They go to lunch with the judges. And I have evidence of it. I have an email that they thought I wasn't included on, where the plaintiff's attorney was saying, just making sure Mr. Hines won't be present for our meeting. I'm like, yeah, you forgot I was on this thread, you idiot. You tell me there's no conspiracy when they're all talking without me being present and not wanting me to be present. You tell me there's no conspiracy when, Stowe Police and Needham Police deny me of my records so that I couldn't properly defend myself as a pro se defendant against this bullshit protective order. And then when I appeal the denial to the custodian of records in Boston, that was also denied. And then when I got a lawyer to subpoena the records, by the time I got them, the appeals court in Boston said, your case has been dismissed because your time is up. And then when I filed a motion to reinstate, that was denied. Why? That's weird, don't you think? You tell me there's no conspiracy when my first divorce attorney takes $8,000, does nothing on my behalf. I had to make recommendations for her. I had to. It's incredible. And then she moves to Texas, keeps my money, and I reported to the bar. They don't do anything about it. My second attorney takes $4,000. Caught her in a blatant lie. She said she had to be in court all day, so I dropped some paperwork off at her office, and she comes strolling in at 9:30. I'm like, I thought you were in court all day. She goes, oh, did I say that? Okay. And then she doesn't show up to my court date, So I reported her to the bar. They don't do anything about it. Why else would a family court judge label me as disabled with no clinical review, no medical review, no evidence, nothing, simply for the fact that I was filing motions on my own and filed contempt of court charges on the plaintiff, which went against the narrative. They didn't like that, so they took all my powers away in court by labeling me as disabled, and then ordered a next of friend attorney to be me, which next of friend means that they are you in court. You no longer have any say in court. So, and then no fee agreement was discussed, no billable hours was discussed. In fact, this next of friend told me time and time again, I'm not your attorney. So they wouldn't help me with anything I wanted to pay an attorney for. And then in order for me to get a portion of the insurance money back that was stolen from me when my house burnt down, I had to agree to this $14,000 invoice I had no idea even existed, plus a $5,000 retainer, and I was dead broke. I had no other choice. I had no time to even try to fight this, so I had to agree to it in order to get some money. And so I wrote in writing right away, I want that retainer back. Do not spend it. Your services are no longer needed. So they ignored it. Then they stonewalled me, and then they said there's no money. And so I stayed on it. And while I was in jail, I got a letter saying that they released the $5,000 retainer, which is fantastic news because I knew when I got out of jail, I had nothing, But then I got a letter saying that they released the retainer, but they gave it to the plaintiff. So they just stole from me again. It's incredible. So I had to file a motion, drive up using gas money I didn't even have to go up to Lowell and file a motion to return the retainer, the funds. And then I had to go to the constable to have it delivered because I don't violate this bullshit protective order. I don't understand how everyone is allowed to steal from me and never gets in trouble for it. Everyone's allowed to violate my rights. They don't get in trouble for it. I can't tell you how many lawyers I've spoken to, and it's so bizarre because they say, this is unbelievable. This is a clear violation of your rights. All right, how do you spell your last name again? And they're like, hey, can I put you on hold real quick? And hey, listen, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. Best of luck with everything. And we'll just hang up on me. Every time. It's so weird. And when I search for my case information, in mass courts, I can't get a record of it. Only lawyers have access to it. So do you think there's perhaps a hidden note in there or in the lexics? Why else would Concord Court dismiss my civil complaint about all the property that was stolen from me and then lie to me about it, and to this day refuse to give me any paperwork on it? Why else would all my computers be hacked time and time again? You know, why else would I have found malware by FinSpy, which is malware exclusively sold to law enforcement, tied into my YouTube channel? My YouTube channel is being shadow banned. You know, I got bots commenting on my stuff. I see my views and likes go down from the previous day, so they just subtract how many people have viewed my videos. It's wow, that's magical. How did that happen? I'm being censored, and the strangest thing in all this is that on August 1st at 8:49 in the morning, I got a call from a blocked number. The guy says he's a PI. He was a police officer for many years. He says, "I'm a fan of your music." He says, "I just want to let you know, I don't agree with what's going on with you. He goes, I'm aware of your story, and I don't agree with it." He says, "You're definitely being censored." And he says, "I just wanted to let you know that, for peace of mind," he says, don't give up hope. One day this will all be behind you. So whoever you are, thank you for, confirming what I knew, and, I appreciate it. So, but it's incredible. And then the weirdest thing is 3 hours later, on my cell phone, the call log where it just said blocked call disappeared. It's like I'm living in a Twilight Zone episode, It's just insanity, I'm facing 5 felonies for sharing my art. I don't get it. So I hope my plan was to move to Mexico, because I'm sick of the abuse here. I'm sick of not having any rights. So I cashed in my 401k. I'm selling my truck, and I'm giving my boys my motorcycle. So boys, I hope you enjoy it. It's very fun, but it also goes very fast. It's got a big bore kit in it, and it's a Harley. It's super cool. So I want you to get a DOT approved helmet and be very careful, and don't go fast. But have fun, and you're very handsome, so be warned, it is a chick magnet. I love you very much. I don't think it's right that people have violated your right to know your father, and I just hope you remember all the great memories we had, all the laughs. I miss reading to you every night, and I missed you like crazy. You don't even know. I've tried to fight. I fought like hell to try and see you, and I keep getting railroaded, stonewalled, and blocked for some reason. And it's just so unfair. And some people might make the argument, well, the court did give you the option to see your kids for 2 hours if you paid a supervisor $600 out of your own money. But I'm sorry, I refuse that on principle, because that makes me look like the bad guy. Daddy, who is this stranger, and why do they have to be here? I don't know. Ask the court. It's ridiculous. It's just incredible. And this is my warning to all single males out there, especially if you live in Massachusetts, or as everyone in jail calls it, Missachusetts. Don't get married. Please, I beg you. I heard this from other guys when I was younger, and I wish I listened, because they're not kidding. You can trust this person with your life. You can trust them with your finances. You can hide an engagement ring through 3 custom checkpoints just so you can propose in Paris. You can give them the house that they want. You can give them 2 beautiful kids. You can work your ass off on that house and still be called lazy. You can remodel 2 bathrooms. You can build a staircase with a banister. You can put new floors down for your son's bedroom, build a closet out of scratch for him. You can repaint the whole house. You can fix the water pressure tank. You can replace copper pipes, install a spigot outside. You can redo both decks. You can rebuild the hot tub twice, install shrubs, gutters, everything. It will all be for nothing. And at the end of the day, you won't even be allowed to use one of the bathrooms that you remodeled. And if you snore, you'll get elbowed until you go sleep on the couch, you know? So don't do it. And don't date a single mother, whatever you do. I mean, because 52% of marriages end in divorce. 72% of the time, it's initiated by the woman. So when she breaks up with you, not only do you lose the relationship with her, but any relationship you built with those kids is now gone too. And you have no parental rights, so you're screwed. So don't do it. It's not worth it. So it's kind of a depressing fact, but it is kind of a lonely life. So I'm just trying to be straight with you. You don't need that piece of paper. You can live with the person, but no matter how many times she asks, just say, I'm not ever getting married. It's not worth it. So thanks for listening, and I hope somebody looks into this. I mean, share it, keep it alive. I would appreciate it, because I don't want this happening to anybody else. Because if they're doing this to me, guarantee you they've done it before, and they'll do it again. And it's just not right. Human rights are extremely important. So, all right, but take care, y'all. Thank you very much. Have a good day.